And we finish up with a Golden Bear getting a golden honor. Vestal's legendary head coach, Vicky Sachs, is the next to be highlighted on our countdown to this year's Greater Binghamton Sports Hall of Fame ceremonies. Coach Sachs has spent more than 4 decades on these Section 4 sidelines, accumulating more than 850 wins in that time. Sachs led the Bears to a field hockey team to 2 state championships and the softball team to 2 state Final Fours. She's the winningest coach in Colgate Raiders softball history as well, grabbing 3 Patriot League championships in her time.
And it's nice to be recognized, but it really, all of the awards and the championships, all of that, the wins, that doesn't touch the journey and the people that you work with and the athletes that you coach. That's what really makes everything very, very special.
Coach Sachs is special as well. Sachs, a Vestal grad, playing 3 sports for the Golden Bears and a 2-sport collegiate athlete for the Iowa Hawkeyes. She was elected into the Vestal Hall of Fame as well in 1997.